to Wines du Jour. We're here at Grape Street in Las Vegas, and we're having a really good time enjoying a new experience, if you will, discovering a wine that maybe we didn't know anything about. And that would be from the winery, or the wine cellar, if you will, from Parducci in Mendocino, California. Great winery, good people, and very reasonably priced, excellent wines. Now, what I didn't talk about on this Cabernet before we went to break, I want to mention now, because this is not a straight 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Remember I told you that it comes from the Mendocino area, but we have different varietals in Mendocino, and they've taken a little bit of this and a little bit of that, blended it together to get what they think is an even better taste than just a straight Cabernet Sauvignon. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. Let me take a look at my note here. In the bottle, we have 80% Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And to that, they have added 7% Merlot, or from Texas, Merlot. Okay? And 5% Cabernet Franc, or what we refer to affectionately as Cab Franc, but Cabernet Franc. And then, last but not least, about 2% Petit Verdot. Now, you're going to say, Petit Verdot, I didn't know what the heck that was. Well, if you've ever been to France and you go and buy some of those nice Bordeaux's, they are not 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. They have some Petit Verdot, they have some Merlot, they have some, not only Cabernet, of course, but also a little bit of Cab Franc, all blended together. And it tastes wonderful. That's pretty much what they're doing here with Parducci, but we're not charging you $65 for the bottle. You follow what I'm saying? So that adding a little bit of juice from more than one different varietal is probably an excellent idea as opposed to a negative, if you will. Now, there are a few people in this world that wouldn't drink a Cabernet Sauvignon that wasn't 100% Cabernet because they're, well, I don't want to say stupid. I don't want to call anybody stupid, but they just don't understand taste and flavor. They think it can't be good if it isn't 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, and you are wrong, my friend. So when you add some of the other things to it, that's good. Now let's take a situation now. You have a winemaker, he makes this wine and it tastes really good, but when you swallow it, boy, your throat heats up, it almost burns you. And he says, well, you know what? We've got some Merlot over here. If I add a little bit of Merlot to that Cabernet, that heat goes away. And so the Cab tastes just as good as it did before, but that negative part has gone. And that's why we have blends rather than straight 100% Merlot, to improve the taste, not to try to get more juice for the same amount of money that you would charge if it was 100% Cabernet. That has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with it. And I'm just here to tell you that 99% of all time, any blend, I'm saying, I shouldn't say the word any because that's a little bit tough, but most blends are done to improve the taste of the product. Some blends, frankly, because the winery's not real good or the grapes aren't that wonderful or whatever, they do it to cover up taste and flavor, and that's not at all what we're talking about here. Just like we're not talking about drinking wine on Friday night to see how many bottles you can drink. Wine is food. A meal is a meal, but with a glass of wine, it's a celebration. From casual gatherings to formal affair, wine celebrates any event. So, I hope you enjoyed our show this evening. I want to thank you for listening to Wines du Jour, America's #1 syndicated wine radio show. We're here on the air every week at this very same time. And if you've enjoyed the broadcast, tell everybody you know. If you want to know more about my personal subjects, go to my website, leskincade.com, or send me an email, leskincade, or I should say les@leskincade.com, or go to my Facebook or go to Twitter. I'll be happy to work with you any way I can. I want to thank my broadcast engineer, Jeremy Knight, VAsianTV High Definition, for making television in Las Vegas and all over Asia happen. And thanks for choosing and listening to Wines du Jour from the left coast, from the east coast, and from all around the world on the internet and on the radio and on television. I'm Les Kincaid. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching Wines du Jour. We've had a great time here at Grape Street. You know, they're celebrating their 15th anniversary this last week here in Las Vegas. So they're doing a beautiful job. The people love this place. Well, Parducci Wines turned out to be a pretty good pair for Chef John and his staff. They did it really well. So I want to thank you very much for watching Wines du Jour. We'll see you next time, right down the road.